Hey, welcome back to Lick of the Week videos. This is one of the redos that will get us up to date on all the videos we've covered so far. Again, I'm going back to the year 2008 when I first started this whole Lick of the Week thing, and I'm replacing those really terrible quality videos from back in that time period. This was from July 13th from 2008, and I was just beginning to dabble in videos covering some melodic scale ideas. So this video covered two-note melodic patterns, and basically the term two-note melodic just refers to 16th note scales. I'm going to give you a zoom of the fingerboard, and we're going to talk about the differences between the three types of scales before we dabble too much in the two-note variety. First, to really grasp two-note scales, you need to understand what a basic scale is. That do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 8-note scales, which means one note down, one note up, one note down, one note up, down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's 8th note scales. That was a G major scale. Now if I'm going to play a two-note scale, what's going to happen is I'm going to double the number of notes in the same space. So in a measure, instead of having 8 notes over 4 beats, I would have 4 notes over 4 beats. 4 times 4 is 16. So you would have twice the number of notes in the same space. In order to double the number of notes and keep them in the same measure, you have to play them at half the duration. Some people say you have to play them twice as fast, but actually the speed of the notes doesn't change as much as the duration, how long they ring out. So these notes are going to be quicker in duration. Now, how would I double the number of notes? We could say, oh, I'll just play G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp G, right? 2 G scales back to back. But that's not actually how the two-note scale works. What you're going to do is skip around in the pattern. You're going to play G, then skip over A, which is the next note in the G scale, and go to the third note. G, B is 1 to 3. Then A to C would be 2 to 4, then B to D would be 3 to 5. So if you write this down on a piece of paper, you'll see that you're going 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, 6, 8, and then you're going back and skipping, going into the next octave, and you'd have 7, 9, blah, 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 all the way up. And what you wind up with is 16 notes. These are the same notes you just played, but 2 at a time and in a slightly different order. Now, how would you accomplish that on the fingerboard? Well, let's look at some possible ways to play this. G, B is the first 2 notes, the first and third note of the scale together. So here's beat, downbeat number 1. 1. And is the first offbeat, and that's where you would play AC. Where am I going to play AC? Right here. So the first 2 notes, G, B, is open 3, open 2. Here is A, C, which is the third note, the second note in the fourth note. Okay, the next 2 notes would be B and D. Okay, that could be the open second and the open first. So let's review those. G, B, A, C, B, D. Now what's after that? C, E. That would be these 2 notes, which is the third string at 5, second string at 5, C, E. So you can already tell that my finger arrangement kind of looks like the regular G scale in places, but then all of a sudden it changes. So I'm trying to accommodate the new pattern with my left hand. Again, the typical 8-note scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now the 2-note variety. That was C and E. Now we have D and F sharp. I can move these 2 fingers up here. Now I have D, F sharp. The next 2 notes are E and G, which could be here or here. Or what fingers you want to use. E, G. F sharp and A could be these 2. And then G and B would be this, like your Sally Gooden position. G, B. And that would give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you're familiar with melodic style at all, you might recognize these closed positions and say, I don't really want to use those closed positions to play that pattern. There's always more than one way to play a scale. You could play the, I'm trying to think, you could play the F sharp and the D as open D, and then that, or you can play the F sharp here. But the main goal is to get that, what I tell my students is the windshield wiper effect. G, B, A, C, B, D, C, E, try to remember them here, D, F sharp, E, G, F sharp, A, G, B. So what you're doing is flipping around, and has that characteristic flop, flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, where an eighth note scale has this real direct bum, 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, where a two note scale, because it has twice as many notes and a slightly different arrangement of the notes, flop, 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 flop. So it has a different pattern rhythmically, a different kind of feel. Now, you can also play those in different directions. That, obviously, if you listen to the notes, they're going up. They're going up, ascending. So you see the term ascending obviously means going up. Descending scales would take the same notes and reverse them. So let's see if we can do that. B, G, then F sharp A, I think, and then E, G would be here, then and of course you can use whatever fingers you want, D, F sharp D, C, E would be reversed to E, C, then D, B, A, C, or C, A, I'm sorry, it's hard to do this and talk at the same time, then G, B, B, G. So you'd have, and if you move this up the neck, then you get something that may sound more familiar to you. I'll play part of a two-note G major scale here, and that's just a fragment. It's not the complete 16th note scale, but it's just a partial. I can continue. So this is going to be challenging not only for your brain to kind of comprehend what's going on, but for your right and your left hands to accommodate the patterns. If you've already played some, 8-note scale stuff on the banjo, you'll have no problem making your right hand do this. The left hand may rebel a little bit trying to find some of these patterns. And you can play modes of the G scale instead of starting on the G and ending on the G. I just thought of this, maybe I should show you a mode. You could also start out of phase. You could start below the G note. You could start down here, the open fourth, which is a note of the G scale, but it's a lower note. So I could go D, F sharp, which is two notes in that pattern, and then go E, G. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. I go, yeah, it'd be F sharp A. So I could actually come from below the normal notes of a G scale. And you say, well, how would you do that? Well, a G string on your banjo is as low as you can go starting on the root, but you have the 4th string on your banjo. That's the lowest note on your banjo in standard tuning. That's also the lowest note of a G scale that you've got. So you could play what we call a mode of a G scale and actually start on that note. So that would give you, a little broader access to the fingerboard. The next question would be, okay, John, where am I going to use a pattern like that? You can use it anywhere you want. You can use it as a standalone lick. be mixed in with your stroke style. Or you could use it, which is I'd say the main usage of melodic style, which is to render fiddle melodies, I can't speak, fiddle songs, and mimic and play the notes exactly the way the fiddle players do. That shuffle of the bow a lot of times is 8th notes and 16th and 32nd notes. So you can play note for note with fiddle players or fiddle tunes as a fiddle player would render them on the fiddle, you know, with the bow stroke. So it has a lot of uses. It's up to you to decide how you want to use this pattern. And being a good melodic style banjo player means that you're pretty versed in not only standard single note scale, you know. So if you're playing 8th note scales like that, you're doing that kind of pattern very well already. The next step up, and I guess in your development as a melodic player, would be to play those notes in 2-note fashion. And it will allow you to render some of those phrasings like you hear on a fiddle player version of a song, but it will also make you more adept when you're soloing and improvising with melodic style. Because even though we're playing scale notes and we practice scales as melodic players to get good at the patterns and to memorize these positions, these fragments, the goal is not to just play 2-note scales just for the heck of playing scales, but to use them musically, which means there are no rules for exactly how to use them. You break them up and use them any way you want, whatever sounds good to you. So have fun with these patterns, and I'll see you on the next Lick of the Week redo. Thank you.